What I'm asking is for the mayor, and as I've said before, I'm asking for the mayor to do exactly what he represented that he would do when he was elected. He said, San Diegans are craving for someone to tell it to them straight, for their mayor to tell them the whole truth, what happened, why it happened, and how it will be fixed. And we're asking the mayor to do that so that you all can ask the questions and that we can get to the bottom of this. A rich campaign contributor who contributed thousands of dollars to the mayor has been given special treatment by the mayor and his staff. They were allowed to build the building in defiance of the FAA safety standards. They were allowed to circumvent the stop work order that the city attorney's office had to be put into place. They were given the benefit of a secret agreement with the airport authority. The misuse of an airport authority employee to try to circumvent the FAA requirements. The misuse of city funds to pay for the travel of that employee, as we understand it. The ongoing cover-up and misrepresentations, failure to disclose the whole truth by the mayor. That is the picture that we are dealing with right now, and that building is still up. And what you're going to find as the weeks unfold is that there are more documents that they're refusing to turn over. I would like to ask the mayor to immediately order those documents to be turned over. And secondly, there are more activities involving land use and airports in the South Bay and Otay that are tied, it's also tied to Sun Road, also tied to this group, also tied to a meeting that took place in the mayor's office, and you have the email to show that meeting that took place, so that there's even a bigger picture that I believe will emerge over the next days, weeks, and months. We need to ask you to investigate this and to make sure that the interests of the people of San Diego are protected by the media, and so that we have a fair and comprehensive treatment of these issues and these events, and that the truth comes out. All I'm asking is for the mayor to not be a corrupt impediment to progress, use his own words. I think it was wrong to remove the documents, and I think that he wasn't working for the city. The city, let me explain to you, the position that Mr. Sexton is taking before the FAA is in complete contradiction to the position of the city in the litigation. He was not working for the city. That's why they needed to go to the council and the city attorney's office and our outside counsel and to disclose to us what they were doing. But they didn't. That was unlawful, improper, a breach of fiduciary duty on the part of the mayor in doing that, and a misuse of public funds. The airport authority was not organized to help Sun Road circumvent FAA rules. That's service, and I know that you look at it at that level, but that's not helping the city. That's helping a developer keep up a building that's a flight safety hazard. And the concept that the statements that the mayor is making as late as March, that he hasn't had a clear picture about whether it's safe or not, that is just completely contradicted by his other statements where he acknowledges that as early as in April of 2006, a year earlier, the FAA had made it very clear that it was a threat to safety to put up the building at 180. And he acknowledges it's the FAA that does that. The mayor is not being honest with the people of San Diego. He's not living up to the commitment that he made to tell what happened, why it happened, and how it will be fixed. And it is cynical and manipulative for him to have made those statements and set that standard, and then so thoroughly and completely fail to meet that standard. And his only reaction that's been a concrete reaction, besides the misstatements that he made about what he's been up to, has been to go after the person's, the budget of the city attorney's office, which happened yesterday.
So what legal action can you take against them?
Well, that's very complex. In Los Angeles, when the sheriff defied the system in the Paris Hilton case, the sheriff was made to capitulate to the judicial system. In San Diego, when the police chief defied the judicial system capitulated to the political system. So it makes it very difficult for me to take case into court knowing that my good friends at the San Diego Union Tribune will more likely than not put an editorial gun to the head of any judge who considers such a case, and make it very difficult, and I don't speak about Mr. Hassmeyer in that regard, but make it very difficult for me to get the judicial system to do what under the law should be. Look at the predicament that we're facing. We can't go to the U.S. Attorney, because we don't have a U.S. Attorney. We can't go to the DA because she's already compromised herself and is aligned politically with the mayor to the point of compromising any interest that she has in thorough law enforcement. We can't go to her friend over at the Attorney General's office because he's done the same thing. And what we're left with is the city attorney's office, who is, in trying to go to the court system, has not been supported in the efforts that we're making to clean this thing up. So there, one of the ways of looking at this is corruption, at least right now, has won out in San Diego. We don't have a U.S. attorney anymore. The DA has been thoroughly compromised. The AG's office is sitting on the sidelines, and the city attorney has been rendered impotent by the failure on the part of the judicial system to support the enforcement effort that we've undertaken.
Isn't there some talk about going back to Brown? I mean, didn't you kind of...
There's some talk about that, but I would think, under these circumstances, that is not a likely outcome. So right now, what we're trying to do is, on the one hand, figure out what happened, and I think that's what we need. When I did the electricity case, the number one reason that the electricity case, the manipulation of electricity prices, the number one reason that we were able to uncover all of that information about the manipulation, get surety, all those kinds of devices that were used, there was one reason and one reason only, and that was because of the media. Because the media dug deep. And that's what we need to have here. We need to have media sending out public records requests, helping to get to the truth, forcing these people to answer questions. The airport authority should be answering questions right now. And we need to understand what more information there is.